Oh, do we have a treat for you tonight? I don't know. Oh, this is the boss. You have made it to the boss level, ladies and gentlemen. Those who have yet to decide, this is the final level. We do have a headliner for you tonight. She is one of Toronto's favorite comedians. She is one of my personal favorite comedians. She will maybe be your favorite comedian. She has an album that she's actually taping here at the Comedy Bar on October 22nd and 23rd at 7 p.m. If you can make it, and if you want to be part of a taping, if you want to get on YouTube without all the admin, I would advise come to that show, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for Kazi!
What up, everybody? Oh man, oh, you guys are so beautiful. I heard that there's a camera here filming everyone, but it's on the right side, and that's my bad side, and that's, I guess, Ross's good side. So everyone tell Ross to fuck off. Can we just, how dare you put the camera over there when I obviously need it over there? Anyway, sorry, thank you for applauding that. That was weird. Oh man, yeah, I just broke up with a girl recently. She's now my Xbox. Thank you. I'll be here for the next 15 minutes. Okay, great. What else do I want to say? Oh my god, my friend can't figure out what video game console he wants to get. No one can console him. That was good? Okay. You guys like more fucking? Okay. We'll talk about being gay later. Okay, cool. You can tell, right, with my hair that I'm a gay? Yeah, alright, cool. Did I just hear yeah? Yeah. Obviously, yeah, okay. What else do I want to say? Oh, what do people in video games have in common? No one can decide on which generation is the best. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck video games. Fuck it, alright? Like when I was younger, like I went to my friend's house, I was 4, right? And they had the original Nintendo, right? Because like I was 4, and this is like 1988. And I was like, oh, they didn't let me play it, Daddy. They didn't let me play it. So my dad bought me a Nintendo, which I never got to play because he played it all the time. And then one day he's like, I beat the game. And I'm like, fuck you, Dad, you did it. No one does. Like, he did. Yeah, he did. Is that not relatable? No? Okay, cool. Do you guys like D&D? Alright, so my favorite thing, it was the first time I ever played a campaign. This is the thing, my group was amazing. It was just like, okay, our DM, Dungeon Master. Gracious leader, thank you. Was an alt rock like model, like he was a goth model. He looked like Marilyn Manson but hotter. And everyone else in the group was like a porn star or a model. And then there was me for the jokes, right? And the guy who created Bitstrips, which is like Bitmoji now. Do you guys know what that is? Who am I asking? Obviously you do. Okay. So I'm like, oh my god, D&D's so hot. So now whenever I play any campaign, I'm just a slut, no matter what the character is. It doesn't matter. It's like, and anyway, so this person's really polyamorous and likes to fuck. Yeah, it's a paladin. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are female or female-ish who have been dating men who play games. I dated a guy who played MMOs way too hard. Like he was getting flown out to Korea and shit. And no, fuck him. He was the worst. God, do not date a gamer. I mean, I married one, but fuck, you know, just like shit. Not the same guy. Just I'm a whore. It's different. Who likes whores? Woo! Yay! I'm so happy because I'm available after the show. Okay, cool. What? Comedy doesn't pay that well. Oh man, the pandemic was so fucked up. You all know it was fucked up. We're all here. I'm so glad I can see people's fucking faces, right? I'm always shocked when people can recognize me. It's like I forget that all of this is happening. And they're just like, how did you know it was me? Like, why do you know my name is Rush? Why is my name Rush? Oh, because my parents are idiots. Right, I forgot. No, let me explain. My parents are from Bangladesh. They moved here But before, they tried to move to the Netherlands, they tried to move to England, they tried to move to like Germany. They got kicked out of all those countries, and then they came to Canada, and they're like, we're not getting kicked out. So my dad like fucked my mom real hard, got her pregnant. You know, that's how you do it. You do it hard, right? And it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, they're not going to kick a pregnant lady out, right? Because it wasn't Trump's America. This is like 1984, right? In Canada. And they're like, okay, what do Canadians like? We're going to name our firstborn son what Canadians like. They like this bandit rush. Okay. And I showed up with a vagina. They're like, you know, it's still a good plan. So my sister's name is Camellia, which is like the green tea flower. So I'm just actually wondering if they just flip through the dictionary and just randomly pick things. You know what I mean? Is that what happened? Is that what you did? You fucking psychopaths. Anyway, like I said, I'm a gay. But I didn't, okay, here's the thing, I'm non-binary, which with the tits and everything is very confusing for everyone. But like I'm non-binary, I don't ascribe to a gender or anything. But when I was in high school, I didn't know that was an option, right? So I just decided I was a trans man, you know? Or more like a trans teenage white boy listening to like a lot of Papa Roach in Lincoln Park. You know? Had a wallet with a chain on it. I was a giant asshole. I just have my boobs down, wear a fake beard, fuck a lot of bitches. Sometimes nice ladies, you know? But mostly bitches because you get what you give, you know? It's the secret. It's a book I've never read, but I assume it's about my gender, right? And like, I couldn't Google this shit. We didn't have Google. We had to ask Jeeves, right? I was gonna ask a robot butler what my gender was, right? So like, I'm a man. Yeah, anyway, so the thing is, I found out I was pansexual by mistake by tripping and falling onto a penis one day. And I love saying pansexual over bisexual because I prefer that strangers think that I fuck pans over that I don't exist. Anyway, yeah, it's cool. My dad, whenever I brought a girl home, he was really cool with it. He was like, we moved to Canada, this is what Canadians do. They're all lesbians with beards. You know, it's just like, really assimilated, you know what I mean? But every once in a while I'd bring a guy home, my dad was super excited. Like, he'd come to the door, he'd knock, he'd be like, Rush, what are you doing? I'd be like, damn, I'm busy! You know, because that's what I thought a trans man sounded like Chad Kruger from Nickelback. So Dad would leave, he'd come back, he'd knock on the door again, and he'd be like, do you want $20? Yeah, what I'm saying is every time I fucked a guy, my dad would slip a $20 bill into the door, you know? Just to reaffirm that heteronormative activity was encouraged in the house. Yeah, so if any of you men want to make $10, I still live with my daddy. You know, it's just like normal shit. But yeah, dating in the early 2000s. I don't know how many of you know the early 2000s, but yeah, one person. Great. 7 of you. Okay, that's great. But dating in the early 2000s was really difficult as a queer person. You know, we didn't have the apps like Tinder, Finder, Grindr, the 3ender, which was the threesome app that was in beta testing before COVID. It does not exist anymore because we can't touch each other, right? Sorry, that was too real. Anyway, but yeah, no, it was one of those things where like we didn't even have cable internet, okay? We had dial-up internet. You guys remember dial-up internet? It would take me 3 days to download a fake nude of Britney Spears. By the time you got to her nipples, you're like, these are not her breasts. But I have masturbated 16 times already, so you print it out, you put your duotang for later. Porn was hard. You know, this thing is just, yeah. Anyway, so I met this girl online in a chat room. You guys remember those? Yeah! Remember when AOL used to just mail you discs, and you're like, okay. ASL, age, sex, location. I'm just 17 in Rexdale hunting for a pussy, you know? Just finding one, looking for a hole, you know? Just like trying to find one. And I found this girl online, and we started talking on the phone to describe ourselves to one another because we didn't have digital cameras, so we had to do it, right? This is the past, right? So I'm talking to her, and she sounds like Ashanti. Do you guys remember who Ashanti is? Because the joke is really dependent on that. Okay, yeah, all right. So we're talking, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck Ashanti. It's gonna be great. I'm like, what's your ethnic background if you don't mind me asking? And she did not mind because it was 2001, right? And she's like, I'm half Jamaican, half Indian. I'm like, that's amazing. That's what I assume Ashanti is. I don't have Google yet, you know? To check. Anyway, I'm like, what's your body like? She's like, I'm tall, fit, and very athletic. I'm like, dope, 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 dope. All the things I'm not, right? I'm like, do you look like a celebrity so I can picture it in my mind's eye? You know, just because we don't have cameras. And she's like, I do. My friends say I look a lot like Ja Rule. I'm like, that's the same music video, baby. Let's go. The thing is, she lived in Scarborough, I live in Rexdale. If you guys know Toronto anatomy at all, that's a 3-hour transit situation. It's 2 subways and a bus, right? So I'm just like, let's meet in the middle. Let's go to my favorite restaurant. Let's go to Yorkdale Mall, and I'm gonna take you to the fanciest place I know. Let's go to Rainforest fucking Cafe. Right? You're gonna eat from the villa? Maybe finger bang, whatever, it's fine. So we go, and I'm like a Chad back then, and I'm super masculine. I'm like, don't worry, baby, I'm buying, you know? Wearing a beard and shit. I got everything. And I'm like, order whatever you want. And she does. She gets this thing called the cedar wood plank salmon, which is like a $30 fish dish. It's just a piece of fish on wood. And for dessert, she gets this thing called the volcano, right? It's 15 brownies on top of one another with whipped cream, ice cream, and sparklers on top, and you know what I'm talking, all right? And the entire staff comes out screaming, volcano, 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 because we needed more attention being an interracial queer couple with my beard falling off, you know? We needed that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, I spent $70 on her that night. $70. 2001. Inflation. That's $3 million of now money. Okay? That's a lot of money. Okay. I'm like, I guess I'm gonna fuck Ja Rule. You know what I'm saying? Because she did not lie. She did look like Ja Rule. Long story short, what I'm really trying to say is dating in the early 2000s as a queer person is a lot like going to Fyre Fest. You know? Let me explain. Don't know all that. What the fuck are you on for? Then I did this for no reason. Anyway, the reason why it's like Fyre Fest is because you travel very far, you're spending a lot of money, Ja Rule is fucking you. You know, it's just like, it's just a thing. You guys want to see an impression of me playing a video game? Let me explain. Okay, when they added the third dimension, I got really nauseous. It was a thing. And when I was younger, every time Mario died or fell in a hole or something, I died. I died personally. Anyone else relate to that? I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of nods, but I can't hear you. Yeah, okay, bitches. No, it's just like a bit of you dies. A bit of you dies every time that little character dies. Any character. It doesn't matter what game it is. And that's why video games freak me out. Also because I used to smoke too much weed and it gives me anxiety. And I'm just like, oh no, I'm playing Amped and I fell on my snowboard. Ow! You know, it's just like, why? Why am I like this? But yeah. So, like, when they added third dimension, it's a Nintendo 64 situation, right? Okay, I was like, oh no, my TV's only 13 inches, I'm gonna throw up. But like, when I got my Xbox and I started playing games with people, they're like, all right, let's do this. Like, we're not even with people, just trying to play Skyrim. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh no, what's happening? What's happening? Why are there so many joysticks? Anyway, I'm going to give you guys a piece of advice and then I'm going to go. Is that okay? Because you want advice from this, right? Okay. Did you know you could say no to a breakup? Oh, it works. So let me explain how. Okay? I was dating this guy and he wanted to break up with me because I was cheating on him, right? And I was like, no, thank you. It's like, that's not how breakups work. I'm like, it's 2015, it takes 2 of us to consent. Get woke, bitch. He's like, I don't think that's what woke means. I'm like, I'll give you $5 right now to fuck me. He's like, you don't have $5, right? So I went to my wallet, produced a really sexy toonie. You know, just like, I didn't have $5. Anyway, stood over the table like this. It was very charming at that moment. And then, you know what? He didn't break up with me. And that became like our thing, right? Anytime I wanted to get laid, or anytime I wanted to prevent another breakup, because I kept cheating on him, I'd smack a tootie down, we'd go to town. And it was fun. Anyway, one day he thought it would be really cute to flip it on me. He's like, I made lobster, let's fucking do this. And he threw a tootie down onto the coffee table, and I was so fucking offended. Right? Like, how dare you offer me money for sex? No one pays me for sex unless it's my dad, okay? For any of you who are not applauding or just going, oh, I told a joke earlier about how my dad gives me $20 every time I fuck a guy. It's called a callback. In comedy, you know, if you really like comedy, you should probably know that. Anyway, I've taught you something. Because I'm amazing. Also, kangaroos can't jump backwards. I taught you 2 things. I've been Kazi. Check out my album, TV, October